Heavenly Father, we ask that you come to us today. Let us hear Logan's experience with his father and all the wonderful thing they've had through sobriety. Help Larry and I to be there and try to help share that message along with Rob. Thank you, Katie, for doing everything she does for us. Heavenly Father, just help us pass this message and spread it along to somebody else that needs to hear us today. Amen.
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 That'll work.
Welcome back to Recovery Unfiltered. It's Rob and Larry in your ear again. We don't need letters before or after our names. Just two drunks with a lot on our brains. Sit back, relax, let us carry the load. We've walked that dark and winding road. We're just two alcoholics with a lot to say. This is Recovery.
We had another little intro, but then Larry came up with that one. It's pretty catchy. You know,
I like that.
It's catchy. It is
The
catchy.
whole song. Did I send you the whole song? I sent it to Bonnie the other day.
Yeah.
Because Bonnie said she never heard it. There's a whole song to it. I've
Okay.
been messing around with what's called Sono. It's an AI. Anyways, that's Logan, everybody. That's Logan right there. That is Mini Rob, if you haven't noticed. Mini Rob. And the other one you heard is Mr. Jim Hart. This is our first one that we're doing. I don't know if you want to call it Skype, however you want to call it, but he's coming to us through Riverside. So
Yeah,
we
but
can't see
test
him
dummy.
because the monitor is behind us.
But can he see us, or he's just
Oh no, he could see us.
okay?
Yeah, but he's so ugly.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Rob.
Ugly. We
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
look at him.
Yeah, I got a face for radio.
Yeah.
You do.
That's what I do.
But I've had like 2 or 3 people that have wanted to come on to the podcast, and I've been scared to do it because I didn't know how this system would work. I haven't never done it. So I'm like,
We tried it once, but it was all
it was
kind.
horrible.
it was
It
horrible.
was everywhere. Well, we brought it in with Dr. Rachel the first time, but it was bad because it was delayed and it wasn't good. My system wasn't hardwired.
And then
We're
there's the
hardwired
other
in.
two cats that do a podcast. We were
Right.
gonna do
Well,
them.
that was, I know the problem there. I know what that problem was because they were on Riverside at the time and I wasn't.
Hmm.
If we were to do it again, this would work. Right. So I understand what we were doing there. But then, so I texted Jim the other day. I hadn't seen him in a little while. I'd seen him come across the text. So I texted him. I said, "Hey bud, what's going on?" And he laid out a few things for me. I'm like, dude, that sounds like you're going through it a little bit. So this morning I'm like, let me get Jim on just to test this and just to go through a little bit that he's going through. So catch us up.
Well,
So if you're
first
curious-
of all, how's he feeling? How's the health, Jim? How's the ribs?
Hold on. Let me just remind everybody
Yeah. Oh, but-
who he is. This is Jim Hart. He was August 20th is when he was on. It was called From Chief to Rock Bottom. It was one of our largest podcasts ever. It hit well over, I think it was well over like 5,000 or 6,000 views or something like that. But I truly believe still this day that Jim was paying people in Denver.
Colorado they were getting kickbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why do you
Jim,
think I'm broke now? That's why I'm
but-
broke.
Well, that's all right. Hey, but you're popular. And I guess that's worth it. You're famous.
First time in my life.
Yeah. You're ghetto fabulous.
So answering Rob, how's your health after that fall you took?
It's good. I mean, it wasn't, the only thing I really broke was my pinky finger, and the rest of it was all just bruising. But this finger's kicking my butt. I still can't get it straightened out. But, what do you do? Nothing you can do.
You can't just drink tea anymore because you can't stick your pinky out.
I can drink tea. Just like that.
Damn it. Tell me what's going on with you.
Not a whole lot. Just been, I went back to work, took the winter off. I just did the retirement thing. And then summer came around. I went back to mowing at the golf course, which is kind of my happy place. I love it out there. But it's getting used to waking up at 3:45 again and shaking that all up and trying to keep everything adjusted for the program. You get like in the winter, you get in a run, sleep in, wake up, pray, meditate, go to the gym, do the things you want. Well, then summer rolls around, it knocks that schedule back 3 hours. And then you're coming home tired. You don't want to go to the gym. So a lot of things have been just trying to get back in a system,
Sounds like luxury problems. I love
Yeah,
it.
it is. It's first world problems, but it's a lot with the program, trying to adjust to it and, getting sponsees. Rob, I started sponsoring. I had one sponsee go out, struggling to get one working now. You guys remember you were praying for my nephew that got hurt
Right.
so bad. He's been sober since then. And last week he
Nice.
crashed, man.
Nice.
It's been horrible. The poor guy. I mean, he thinks
Last week he crashed.
yeah, last week he crashed. He went back out in a bad way.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a good way, Jim.
No, I don't think there's a good way. He made sure he took it all though. He went back
Oh,
all the
hey,
way.
my
Gotta
God.
do it. Might as well do it all the
Oh,
way.
he went hard,
I
man.
just laid into one of mine this morning.
And,
No,
I'm
that's
praying for him, and he thinks I'm mad at him. I said, "I'm not mad at you, man. I know the pain you're going through. I feel for you."
hence the reason why I don't do sponsorship.
Yeah, and
I
I
should say that because I have one right now. So I
in
have
all
one.
honesty, I had a little, well, I don't wanna say argument. My sponsor and I had a little misunderstanding, and it was just a personal relationship, but it got to the point where we thought, "Let's keep our friendship separate from our sponsorship," and I fired him just like Larry did you, Rob.
Perfect. Did he cry tears of joy like I did?
Oh, he did a dance. I thought he was sad, but he was
Wow.
dancing.
Well, Jim, I was sitting in the chair when it happened. If I was standing up, I'd have danced a jig like you can't believe, and cried and sang.
Yeah.
It was
No,
like glorious.
we were together 2 years, and he's still one of my best friends. It's just, I think we were given so much personal advice and being so much on a personal level, it was hard to get that sponsorship aspect of it, for me anyway.
What do you think the difference is, Jim? Explain that a little bit because Rob and I's relationship is close. I mean, I
Yeah.
talk to him about everything. I don't have and Doug and anybody that I have in. So explain that a little bit because I'm having a hard time understanding that it got too personal.
I guess in my mind is, I look at a sponsor like the guys that I sponsor. They don't call me and say, "Hey, how's this thing with your kid? You should maybe do this," or, "How's
Well,
this thing
he's
going with your
giving you
girlfriend? Maybe
advice
you should
and
do that." And
but he's giving
whereas
you
him and I
unwarranted
we're
advice.
both single guys. We're both trying to experience the dating world and back and forth. We're really involved with giving each other advice. And I think it just kind of, you get a little bleed over from the AA sponsorship into, I think it'll work, be it like with you guys, but like this, what I've been going through this week with my nephew, I would really like a sponsor, somebody I could call and say, "Hey man, I'm thinking of telling him this," and him say from his sponsorship aspect, "Do this," rather than saying, "I don't know.
I
I don't
got you.
really know how to explain
I
it."
get it. I get it.
Well, I mean, because a sponsor and sponsee, in my opinion, denotes a certain relationship, and it's not so much subordinate, but
Right.
because like I told the young man I'm talking about, I said, if you're not, when I asked him last week, hey, call me every day
Right.
this week, and call one other brother, and then you ask that brother to call me and say, hey, Rob, Ed, this young man called me, just let you know, because if you are not going to humble yourself and take advice or take direction from me, you certainly aren't going to listen to God.
For sure.
So, and then you're not going to get sober, and
Mhm.
that's a certain relationship, right? So,
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought with it.
And I say I'm not sponsored. It's funny as I had a sponsee call me. I actually have two going right now. One's in Maynard's right now. And the other one called me. He's getting ready to, his sobriety date is yours, right? It's yours. It's June 1st. And he's going through it right now. Same way I go through it, right? Remember how used to go through it towards that 1 year,
Yeah.
that 1 year? He is going through it, brother. He is, he's on it. And I had to remind him again. I'm like, dude, you're 10, 11, 12 days away from, your 1 year. You're working through some shit.
Mm.
And your shit is probably running over onto other people's shit and it's making them react. You just understand and walk through a little bit of what you're going through. And the other thing is that he's fighting is he used to run big crews and now he's just running he's trying to run himself.
Yeah.
And he's struggling with that a little bit. Right. And
it's easier when you're looking at other people,
Oh,
taking their inventory, when you got to look at self,
right.
Honestly. But another thing with we got going on, Jim, with Larry and all the boys, because with me, once you're done with the steps, once I've walked you through the steps, you've done them,
Mhm.
I'm no longer your sponsor.
Right.
You can go ahead and call me. We can have that title, but we're brothers now. It's more like discipleship, as the Christian would call it.
And that's kind
Now,
of what I thought.
we're walking. But so the advice I would give Larry, I mean, we might talk on more topics now,
Right.
but we didn't. I don't think so. But it's still the same.
It's the same.
I'm going to tell him the truth, whether he likes it or not. What he needs to hear, and he's going to say the same. We still, now it's iron sharpens iron. We take on the Christian
Right.
approach, and we sharpen one another. We don't hold back when they
that's-
need it, and we hug them when they need it. But I know what you're talking about.
And I agree with that, Rob. I think like Larry went to Doug to redo his steps.
Absolutely.
I'm getting to that point where I'm ready to redo my steps.
Yes, you
And
are.
I think
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than going through with my sponsor from before, let's pick a different perspective and maybe I'll get some of that higher hanging fruit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and some of
that's
that
great.
holds you to
Right.
a tighter accountability than sponsor/friend. You might let you slide on a few things. Where a new guy, no, let's
Yeah.
And the other reason why I went to another sponsor is Doug has been through a lot of the family things that I'm struggling with.
Right.
And and what was great is yesterday when I was coming home, yesterday Butch in the back said something and it shook me to the core. And his mom just died.
Right.
And he was working through it. And it just hit me so hard as to what if my parents went and I never got to say what I needed to say. It hit me hard. I don't think anybody noticed in there, but it hit me.
So what are you going to do about it?
Well, once again, I got a chance. I had I had a post meeting with John on the drive in, and I had a pre meeting with John on the way in, and then I had a post meeting on the way home. My pre meeting was me not being able to go camping with you guys. I'm struggling with that, right? But
we're gonna have fun without you.
That's my problems. I don't want you fuckers to have fun.
Oh, we're having a fucking blast.
I hope y'all
Probably more fun.
I hope y'all get dirty and don't catch any fish. And
we will. We'll get dirty. We'll catch all kinds of
the
fish.
fire don't light. I hope you guys have a miserable fucking time without me. But
Son, hey,
that being said,
we got Brandon. We're gonna eat good. We're gonna have fire. We'll be just fine.
But that being said, I can't do it. So I was feeling like I'm not being a part of the group, right?
Yeah, you
And
are.
it just sucks. Well, whatever. That's the way. So we talked about that. Then on the way home yesterday, well, this is all leading into what we're going to go through with Logan a little bit today is I went back to, thinking about this stuff, the stuff unsaid and undone with parents.
Right.
And towards the end of it, without going into depths, and John helped me see this, is one of the things I've never done is I've never turned it over to God and let him have it. Right. I've never done it ever. I've never, ever said, I pray for my bosses every day. I bless them and release them and give everything over. I've never done that with my parents. I've never done it with anybody inside of my.
I've done it with my kids.
Yeah,
my
I know
wife.
you have. We've talked about it, but I have never done it. So it was a great one.
Well, that takes a lot of trust to do that. That takes a lot of faith.
I think the point of what I'm trying to say is I didn't need my sponsor for that. Right? That wasn't John's not my sponsor.
No,
John was just another.
That's a brother.
Another alcoholic that's sitting next to me.
Iron sharpens
iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, Larry, hearing you say that. Just before this, I had a meeting at AA, and there was a gal in there talking about how her mom just passed away. But her mom was able to see her sober and see the change in her. And that always affects me because my folks both died.
Right.
Yeah, my folks. I'm with you, Jim. My folks never got to see my son, or my mom did, but when he was a baby, then she died. But my dad never got to see the only granddaughter he's got, which is mine.
Yeah.
He never got to see this. Never.
I wish my parents would have saw me sober because
Me too. Never. They haven't. My parents never met this man.
yeah, because I'm a better person than I used to be.
No,
God bless
but
the
on
people
other
that
side
do
of
get that chance. God bless
On the
them.
other side of that, Jim, my parents have seen me sober and they haven't said how proud they are of me. There's a difference, right? That's a big difference for me. That's what I battle with.
I got you.
So that's the part where I had to let go of. That right there is because I didn't get sober for them to tell me how proud they are of me. That's not why I got sober. I didn't get sober for that woman sitting behind me to love me again. That's not why I got sober, right? I didn't get sober for anything except for me and me alone, right?
And amazing, and all that stuff took place.
Oh yeah, and I just had to turn it over and let it go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we dig into Logan, Jim, catch us up on a little bit more of what you and I spoke about the other day. Besides you firing your sponsor because he was saying stuff you didn't like.
That's it.
You
no, life
mentioned
is
it
good.
the whole thing.
Just trying to. I know where you're going, Larry. You prick. You're trying to go fishing for a friend.
Okay.
So, no, I know Rob had a theory when I came out there. I remember his devious little mind thinking that me and my ex-wife were going to get back together. That didn't happen. That's not even close. So no, I took a year and a half off. No dating, no hanging out with anybody, nothing. Just had to find me, and it was really good. And honestly, now on the flip side, I'm starting to see somebody a little bit. We're having a good time and making friends. Same thing. She had been alone for a long time. I had been alone for a long time. I think it's weird how the struggle is incorporating somebody back into your life.
Yeah.
There's those nights I want to just say, "Hey, I'm gonna sit on my couch with the dogs."
Hey, yeah.
There's an Avs game on tomorrow. I'm just gonna be home with the dogs, blinds down, doing my whole thing. So,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. What's weird is the things that when my first year that I was learning the divorce and losing the job that I thought would knock me off the beam, I was so willing to give up control that I stayed right on the beam. But now that I think I got control of shit, and I'm trying to stay on that beam. It's
Say that
like
again,
I'm
Jim.
losing that
Say it again.
balance.
Now you think what?
I said, now that
I
I'm
think
trying to, I think I'm trying to get control of things and I'm trying to adjust my life.
I can handle it now, God. I can handle this. I can handle
Exactly.
X, Y, Z.
I don't have
You take care
control
of
of
the big
shit.
stuff. Yeah. No, fuck, no, we don't.
It's
It's
like
an illusion.
it's like I honestly go to yoga most Sundays. And if I just lift one leg and stand on one foot and don't think about it, I can do it no problem. But when I try to control that son of a bitch, I fall over every time, like down the hole.
You send us pictures of you doing yoga?
No, please
No.
don't. I don't want to see
No.
no downward dog from old Jimmer in some tights. I'll be done. I'll
I
go back to fucking drinking.
I sent you a picture of me falling down a hole. Look what that got
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You're lucky I didn't post that on our Instagram page. I wanted to so bad.
I didn't either, Jim. So
I
It's
wanted
funny.
to see it. It was freaking hilarious.
no, well, it was until you because Jim goes, hey, did you zoom in?
Pretty rough.
So I zoomed in. Once I zoomed in,
Pretty bad.
so I like Jim. He's a good man. I love Jim. He's a brother. So
You
when I
only
saw
like
that,
him because you're a little bit taller than him.
no, I love him.
Yeah, when you zoom in, that was pretty brutal.
I mean, that was scary because I thought for
It
sure you
was
broke your
scary.
ribs and
Oh yeah, it was spooky.
No, I bruised
when you-
my ribs and then I hurt my hip real bad. And you didn't see my face bounce off the drill. And
No.
that gave me a concussion. So that
Ouch. All right, well, Jimmy, stand by if you want. If you want to hang up, you can, or you can just stand by. We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
let,
listen in.
all right. I'm gonna let Rob take over here a little bit. Introduce who your guest is.
go ahead. Who are you, guest? This is my son, Logan.
Thank you.
He is 21 years old. He is single. Yeah, amazing little career headed out there. He's a great grappler. He's a lot better than I am. He's probably the single best human being that I know. You know, as far as character, honesty, all that stuff, is him. If I grow up, I want to be like him. And it's not because he's my son. It's just, you know, rigorously honest. But so here's what happened if he does lie, though. One time, the only time I know that he lied, his mom asked, hey, did you brush your teeth? Yes. And he takes off to the room. You know, this is and he comes back out crying like that. What, he stub your toe? He came out. You know, told how to tell him, I didn't lie. I didn't brush my teeth. But it bothers him. He's that sensitive, you know, which is not okay.
I was a little kid, by
None
the
of
way,
that, but
for
still,
this,
still to this day, he can't. He lies like shit. You know, we know it is, but he's just a good man. He's a
But
good
you
man.
know what? That's a good trait.
No,
Not to be
dude,
able to lie.
it's awesome.
I'm a horrible liar. That's a great trait to have. It's not a horrible trait to have. So
But the thing is, everybody else
yeah.
has the same opinion of him. You know how many compliments we get,
Yes.
and it's not. It's God. Let's be honest. I mean, it's God.
Right. So
Because when I got sober, he don't remember that, Dad.
no.
What became important to Dad, like my wife says, you know, I got addicted to God after alcohol. He saw that, then he went that direction.
So I mean, we're going to dig into this a little bit, and I'm not going to lie. I had to because we've never interviewed, right? My two daughters knew me as an alcoholic, right? They watched it. They were older. You and your sister never really saw your dad drink. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to interview this? But I know there's something there, right? There's something there. And I was telling your dad this morning, I'm like, where are we going with this? And he was like, I don't know. I'm like, motherfucker, here we go. Right. So I had to do I did some Googling and I'm not going to lie. I got on a ChatGPT and I was like, how do you interview somebody in a podcast who never, their son, you know, basically did the whole situation, and it kicked out some very, very interesting
Great questions, actually.
right? So I'm going to start. It's basically your childhood and your identity. Is what do you think recovery or AA was when you were little? So when you were growing up, when you heard AA and you heard that kind of stuff, like my grandkids hear me talking about it now. But what, from your perspective, what do you remember? What you thought of it back then?
Wow, that's kind of hard. I don't know. So yeah, I don't remember my dad drinking, but the first thing I do like remember about it is like when he had to leave for like a month. Like I remember,
You do remember that?
I remember him sitting us down. My aunt was there, and I remember him sitting us down.
Tammy
and,
was there.
telling us, "Oh, I gotta go away for a month." It's still hazy. Like I don't remember the exact conversation. I just remember being there. But I feel like I wasn't too in depth about AA. Like I kind of knew what it was, and I kind of knew what he was doing, but like I feel like I didn't have a grasp of it until I was probably a little older. Like maybe like 6th grade, then I kind of start getting into it.
Now, how old were you when I had you? Because one of my birthdays, I had him. One year, he got to get up in primary.
Oh, really?
And give you my chip, and my daughter did as well.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, he was.
That
Do
was
you
a-
remember how old you were when you did that? That's
I-
pretty cool, though.
I
mean,
don't. That was probably one of the most nervous times I've ever been.
Yeah.
I remember that's like what I remember from it is being super nervous.
being in that room.
Yeah,
actually,
like
we-
standing up in front of a
Yeah.
bunch of people.
We were
Right.
outside at the time.
That's pretty cool. So so when he first got out, he talks about, quite honestly, he spent the first 3 years of being inside those rooms, right? He was gone all the time. Do you remember as a child going, where the hell's dad going out now?
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was kind of. When did you work in Los Banos? Because I remember you were gone for a long time then,
That was right before I got sober.
and I feel like it kind of just felt the same.
Blended in.
Because like I remember him being gone a lot because he was working pretty far,
Gotcha.
and then I think it happened like right after. So it was
probably
already pretty
worked to
similar.
the benefit
It
of that
did.
whole situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like a blessing in disguise.
Did sobriety feel normal? Like when you got into be like 7, 8, like that? Did you even realize, like when you went over to people's houses or you heard other people talking, did you even realize what sobriety meant when you were a child? How old were you when that word meant something to you?
I would probably say like junior high.
Wow. Okay.
But probably because like that's when I started understanding more. I would start hanging out with some buddies and go over there, and their dads are drinking.
Okay.
But I'm like, I guess my dad never drinks anymore.
So
you know?
did you?
So I kind of got it, but like I didn't.
And me and my wife have told him about
Oh,
our,
yeah.
our kids know all of our past,
for sure.
everything we've did, and all the mistakes we
Both
made
my
and
kids.
with drugs, everything I've done,
Both
all the
my-
methamphetamines. They know about everything.
Both my children, both my daughters knew about that. And I thought that was extremely important that my kids knew that I had that, only because I wanted them to feel comfortable to talk to me about it.
Mhm.
And they did, if they would go to parties and run into that stuff at parties. Like, Dad, that stuff's starting to come around again. Right. We see it at parties now. And that used to make me fucking nervous when I would hear that. It's like, well, let me tell you what's going to happen. Right.
Mm.
So I tried to go into that. Did you feel different from the other families? I mean, did that make you feel different? That, hey, his dad's drinking and there's all kinds of buddies drinking. Why doesn't my dad hang out with those guys?
Not really.
No.
I don't think I had that type of feeling towards it. I honestly thought I thought it was kind of cool, like, oh, he doesn't have to do it and he still has a good time. And he was big on himself. I was like, well, my dad looks more jacked than these guys' dad, so it's got to be something.
Was that period of time, were you envious of like other kids did you feel like your dad was giving more attention to other people when you were growing up?
What did you think about that? Because early in sobriety, when I would sponsor men, it was easy to bring them to the house. After a while, like, now that ain't fair to my family because they would all, because we
Right.
don't have a huge house, so we would like be in the kitchen, and so they would kind of go to their rooms and give us that space. And I thought that ain't fair to my. Remember, for
Right.
2 reasons. One, it's not fair to my family.
Right.
2, I'm taking someone who's uncomfortable anyway, just getting sober, bring them to a place that they're
Right.
unfamiliar with.
Right.
So I started going to somewhere where they're more comfortable, either their home or something like that.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Because a lot of people like Aaron
Strangers coming
become family too. He.
Right.
Yeah, people become really close. Like
Yeah.
I would consider myself pretty close with Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Like I know
Very-
a lot of these people really close now.
It's like
Yeah.
But spending time with other people, I don't know. That's hard because it might be different for Emily, but like I remember like
Emily's your sister.
yeah. When I was 11, 12, and that's when I was starting baseball. I remember you were in the Padres, you helped with the Nationals. Like I feel like I remember you
I was always
being there a lot
Yeah.
enough. So even though you were spending time, I feel like you broke it up pretty decently.
A balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Had
feel like
good
you were pretty
balance.
good about it because I don't have a time in like my memory where I'm like, where's my dad?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit of your young back and then. Let's see. What lessons did you absorb without realizing it as you got older? Do you remember some of the stuff that you saw your dad do? You kind of saw things going on around.
Did you get Did you get AA'd a lot? All the AA stuff.
Oh, I hear a lot of little terminologies that he says he uses with his.
But do you see it? I
sponsees,
think what I'm looking at is what I'd like to know is, do you see it away from your dad? Do you see it out when you were out and about? What did you absorb that you used into your own life from watching your dad as growing through that?
I feel
As a
like,
man.
I feel like a lot of the stuff I got, like when you guys were just talking about it, how like you guys were really open with your
Right.
kids about your younger
Yeah.
years. I feel like that was super important because like the smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man doesn't have to make them.
Right.
And I feel
That's
like I feel like I do a pretty good job about that because I don't drink a lot. Like I've never had I'm a really introverted person to myself.
right.
I don't really go out and do the whole party scene. I don't go and get hammered on the weekends really. I kind of just go to work. I train. I've been like that in high school. I wrestled, didn't really have a girlfriend, didn't really party, just
Very
wrestled,
disciplined.
very disciplined. I don't know. I've just kind of been wired that way though. That's why I feel
You
like
think I would say, do you think that's just part of your nature? Do you think that's from watching your dad?
I think it's both, actually.
little bit.
Yeah,
Because,
influence.
if we're attentive parents, let's be honest,
Right.
Katie, tell me if I'm wrong. I was talking to Logan about, I'm going to go get his sister. She's going to come down from college because it's over. So we're going to move her back in real quick and go get some stuff. And I'm not saying because no parent is perfect, but an attentive parent knows their kids better than they do. They'll know, the kids won't admit it, but we do. And one of what Logan just said, there was a time, Larry, because when we were doing baseball, we found a Texas Roadhouse because his diet started
My
getting,
favorite.
and he started eating steak. So we would tell mom, hey, we're going to go on Saturday. We're going to go to the park, hit some balls. And eventually it got to, we'd go, just so we weren't lying, we'd go to the park, we'd throw the ball once or twice. I mean, that's it. So, and then in the car to the Roadhouse.
So you did.
But as we were talking, and I don't want to I'm not getting into the exact topic we were talking about, but he said, hey, Dad, I remember you telling me a while back about, about this age, it was junior high-ish, you went this direction and this was your result. And he came to the same crossroads. He goes, I'm going to go this way. I'm not going to repeat but that was not me. I'm not going to make the same just because you don't know who I am. He would learn from me and then go, just wisdom.
And that's the point of open. Understood where he was at. You understood what he went through. And because of the way you approached it, he was able to grasp it.
Well, he also said, the quote he said, the one thing I didn't say, he goes, and everybody says I'm just like you. Not only do I look like you, I'm a lot like you personality wise. So I'm going to go this way,
right,
which is super smart.
which we all try to do, right? I mean,
I didn't.
Well, I did.
Once
right?
you told me the stove was hot, if I told him that stove was hot, you're going to burn yourself. I did it last year. All right, I won't touch it. Not me. I'm going to go make sure you tell the truth.
Make sure you're not lying, right?
Yeah.
Did recovery ever look like it was something weak to you, like weak or strength? I mean, when you what did that look like to you as far as? First off,
that's a good question.
Did you know he was in recovery? At what point did you? I think you said about junior high, but did it ever look weak to you?
Oh, when I first started understanding in junior high, I've always thought of it as like, especially because like I've heard his story, I've started hearing other people's stories. I honestly think the opposite. I'm like, dude, if I were there,
Right.
I don't even know if I could get through that, and I consider myself a strong-willed person. Like I honestly thought of it as like, damn, that's a hard decision to make. Like it's almost impossible to do.
It's rough. Yeah.
And you see people who still struggle with it. You see like stories like when you're scrolling through TikTok of the worst case scenario. You're like, damn, I'm truly blessed that he was able to do it so young and I didn't have any of the problems that people
very
have
blessed.
to deal with.
Very, very blessed. What did accountability look like to you at home? I mean, how was that stress to you in your house? Accountability.
What do you mean?
Well, you kind of already mentioned to it that he doesn't lie, but when you keeping your side of the street clean,
His side.
right? When you keeping your side of the street clean, at what age did you realize that, or did you recognize that? That's not lying, right? That's not the lying part. It's just like, what side of the street? When did you realize that you had to keep your side of the street clean?
Manhood, adulthood. How to handle your business.
I would probably say like when I really started to mature like that would have been when wrestling started. I feel like wrestling helped me
High school.
in high school. Wrestling helped me a great deal mature. I was kind of a little baby boy a little bit freshman year still, but it really made me like mature fast, I think. And it's hard, wrestling's hard.
I mean,
It takes a lot
about
of discipline.
and wrestling wrestling for Oakdale High, which they were 10th,
Oh yeah, God.
10th in the state. So,
Yeah.
but what he does, because he's never not missed weight. He started shopping for himself, cooking his own food. He got a meal plan and books and calorie, and that's all on his own.
Right.
Now you didn't see behind the scenes when You know, the day before, the day of, when he's just in it, you know. And but another thing is not because Dad was a wrestler, so his mom would have to go back to the room when Logan's, you know, teared up because he's in the last weight cut, and I'm,
Right.
you know,
Cramping on the floor.
I'm rubbing at his sides, and he's all cramped up. But
I've done it. I get it. I understand it.
but I want to ask you a question, son, because you did something in the 4th grade. It was about your dad, you know, about your mom and dad, and the blessing thing, that if you want to be blessed, be someone else's blessing.
Oh yeah.
That was on his paper. But one of the not the greatest things, but memorable lessons you learned from your father. And what did I share yesterday at the Saturday morning meeting? About being blessed. If you want to be blessed during your day, go be someone's blessed. And he had that written on a 4th grade paper. I was like, wow, they listen. He listened.
Do you remember what caused you to write that? That is pretty for 4th grade. That's pretty intuitive.
That is pretty intuitive for 4th grade. No, I could. It would have had to just be hearing it from him. I mean, I couldn't tell you the situation where he would have told me that, but
what a blessing to hear that inside the room, inside the house, right? Inside the house to hear.
Well, because we did the open house
and to understand it. Right, at that
so
age.
Bonnie was reading it. We were in. I don't remember your teacher's name.
Mr. Heim.
Yeah. So and she goes, "Hey, come here." So I went over there. I'm reading it. And I'm not gonna lie, that, you know, I didn't even remember when I said that, you know. But if you want to be blessed, be someone else's blessing. Where do we learn that at? In the rooms.
Yeah, we learn.
Get out of yourself. It ain't about you. Go. You know, give the cashier at the convenience store a kind word. Do something. Get out of yourself. Do something for somebody else. Then we do. You know, Jesus says it is better to give than to receive. Why does he say? When you're a kid, 5, 6 years old, and there's Christmas presents on the tree, I don't know. I'm not giving. I want. But as
taking all those.
But as we grow and we realize when we give of ourselves, that is the gift. That is the gift. And God teaches us that.
Do you ever run into some of your dad's old?
Yeah, I've heard some pretty crazy stories.
What does that make you feel like?
I was like, damn, he used to live it up back then. No, I've never been like that. So I was like, wow, he used to be like that, knowing him the way I know him now. I've heard stories of him in bar fights or his buddies in bar fights, because I have a pretty good relationship with some of them because I train with some of them.
Right.
So yeah, I've heard some.
Jason Allen and TJ. Yeah.
Right.
I was like, damn, he was a badass back then. Now he's just a RoboCop badass.
Now he's just an old man.
Yeah.
Well, he got the titanium hip, just RoboCop.
Right. They so when you hear those though, it doesn't make you think less of your dad though. Right? Or it should make you feel more for your dad.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I know who he is today, so all of that doesn't.
And the battle he went through to get you there. I mean, that's kind of another question. And do you remember seeing him struggle with his sobriety inside the house? Do you remember? So we call it behind in our side. You know, we can see it when an alcoholic's whiting up on it. Right? They're having struggles. They're just battling through personal demons or anything like that. Do you remember points in times where you saw your dad just struggling with that happiness and that joyous and that free to be that way?
I can't say I have.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I may have, not that I can remember.
So there's nothing that stands
I got
out.
a question.
Hit me.
Well, the one thing your mother we had on her, she couldn't talk about was cancer. And that 6 month of, you know, when COVID hit, he was a sophomore in high school, you know, freshman, sophomore.
End of my freshman year, yeah.
End of your freshman year, sophomore.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get to wrestle your sophomore year because, you know, that. But a lot of, and I want to shout out.
Why didn't he get to wrestle?
Because there was no right. You couldn't touch.
Oh, it was COVID.
And
sorry.
Yeah, but we had some guys who were like still kind of practicing, you know, at somebody's house, but I couldn't go to that because with his cancer, if I'm gonna get COVID,
no, for sure. I got you.
He was the primary target.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you couldn't.
All right.
But
what was your question?
Well, first I want to shout out to the Jones family because he spent a lot of time, and like a lot of the times where I would break down or the chemotherapy would kick my butt 2 or 3 days later, and I have to go in. He almost killed me a couple times. At those critical times, he was usually at their house, and they were just really. I'm very, very grateful for that. But what now? 6 years removed, because you saw me go from, you know, when I was 47 in great shape to almost killing me, and all the fight to come back, just so I could get on the mat with him. Really, you know, what was that like?
I would say that was harder than anything else. Because I would say obviously I could remember that more. That wasn't very long ago, but that one was pretty hard. Like especially with COVID, like you're worrying about that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I get COVID, I could give it to this guy, and then there were some scary times for sure. There was times where like they would when I was at the Joneses, I'd get a call like, oh, dad's in the hospital, something like this, and then I'm just sitting there freaking out. And then there was one time, like about the chemo brain.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, tell them about it.
yeah, there was before they knew what chemo brain was. I don't even really know.
Well, because they were supposed to. No one told us about that. Get me on like a mild antidepressant because either your serotonin receptors or they're blocked, or you don't make serotonin, or you can sometimes, and you lose. That's what I'd have to go if you'd lose yourself. It's like being in your head or being in prison. You're here, but I couldn't speak. I couldn't get out. I couldn't tie my shoes. And that's what I have to go to the hospital and then get me balanced back out. Somebody it was crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, but one time, when I was home, they told it was either him or mom. They were like,
I told you,
you got to hide the guns. And that one, I was like,
you told me that before. Yeah.
That one was pretty crazy. I was like, oh shit,
You're
this is
definitely
serious.
old enough to comprehend that.
Yeah,
he's in high school.
Yeah, I was like 16 or 17. I've never seen him like that. I'm like, really? Like it was crazy. I was like, okay.
But that wasn't from his alcohol.
No, that was the chemo brain. That one was.
That's a question though. But during that period of time, did your isms come in press in there at all? So you were able to keep those. I mean, yeah. So I mean, that only triggered in my head because you're battling some real shit.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
yeah, but I looked at him and said, you got to go hide the guns.
What do you think? How do you think recovery changed the direction of your family?
I think if he didn't recover, if he was still here, he wouldn't be with my mom. So I mean, that's a huge change. But I don't even know if he'd be alive. You were pretty much rock bottom.
Yeah,
doesn't get much lower than that. I mean, I would have to grow up without I'd have to grow up without a father, single mother. I probably wouldn't have got to enjoy sports. I would have had to, help my mom out whenever I could, take a responsibility. It would have been totally different. I've thought about that. I've thought about like literally just little tweaks in the timeline could have changed anything.
It's incredible, right? When we start thinking about those timelines, and I've said this multiple times. I literally want to write out my timeline on my time from 2007 when I had my gastric bypass, honestly, is because it just moments, and I've said this many times, there's moments in time that change your course of life, right? Moments and decisions that change your course in life, right? And his decision to sit down there in front of Tammy and say he's an alcoholic drastically changed his course of life.
And theirs.
Everybody around you.
We don't realize how good.
And the men that you've saved. I mean, that decision, just that moment of time changed just quantums of difference, right? It was just a ripple effect.
Well, think about this, Jim. Doug and I were talking about this on the way home, because Doug is now getting knee deep into sponsorship. Do you like the stuff that I've been doing for years? He's getting it, and he's like, he's asking me questions. God, how do you deal with, when all these men are, they're just giving you all this stuff and just not, to be depressed, or how do you handle it? That's God. God doesn't call the equipped. He equips those he calls. So if you're called there, you're equipped to carry that burden. You're equipped to carry that load. God gives it to you. It's amazing. But I want to tell a story about him, my son, one of the greatest, and I'll be able to do it without tears this time because I've said it. I've shared it a few times, beautiful about his character. So when I go through cancer, getting my throat, my head cooked, about the fourth or sixth week, onto the third month, fourth month, fifth month, you can't, after about 10 o'clock in the day, you can't talk because so I'd call Pastor Steve sometimes and just like, whisper, please say a prayer for me. Because I like to hear prayers out loud, and Steve would. But every night for years, I would do Bible time with the kids. We went through the Bible all the way through it. Then at this point in time, we were picking books. So like 1 month, he gets to pick a book, then we go through it. Then Emily would. And I wanted to keep that, just something, because that's something we've always done. And even though we're going through cancer, we're going through COVID, I try to keep as much stability as we could. But it got to where I couldn't talk anymore. And then one night, I'll get through it. That's right. Fuck, man.
It's unfiltered.
And it'd be him, but not that my daughter wouldn't. So I was trying to do it. And when we were in the book of Luke, and I had the Bible, And I was trying to talk and I couldn't talk and I was getting frustrated. I know they could see me getting frustrated. And he, all of a sudden I feel a hand on my head, a hand on the Bible, and it was him. And he goes, I got you, Dad. And he grabbed the Bible, sat down, and from that to the end of cancer, he read. And that's when God told me, because me and God were arguing the whole time about this, like, all this shit I've done for you, everything since I got sober, I appreciate, Lord, but I've done everything you've asked of me. Every man you've brought, every hour you've asked of me, I've fucking done it. And this is how it's going to end? Like this? You know, and I wasn't really cared about me because I know what I deserve, and I got mercy. I know what I deserve. I'm blessed. But you're going to leave them without me? You know, what about them? And in that moment, he showed me, hey, listen, and this is what I heard. This is the only time I ever heard God in my fucking life. And I'm grateful for it. Yeah, you're going to hear God and the F word in the same sentence. Get over it. Karen. Go shave yourself from the knees down and get back in your Subaru. So God told me.
And he drives a Subaru.
Probably.
No, you do.
Yeah. That's my wife's. He said, no matter what happens to you, you'll be fine because you're mine. And no matter what happens to you, they'll be fine because they're mine. They're not you. And that's when I gave them over. They're yours. They always were anyway. And what freedom that is.
That had to be a turning point.
It was.
For a lot of things.
That turned
a lot of
everything.
Things. Yes.
Fear of death, gone. Right. Fear of tomorrow, any fear, gone. You know, and then strength to walk through the rest of that. At that moment, I knew I was going to survive. I didn't know what survival looked like, but I knew cancer wasn't going to kill me. I'm going to die, but not from that, not that day.
Logan, did you see that?
Not to this extent. Yeah. That was, I almost just started crying now.
He has told that story a couple times, and I can on here, he's told that story a couple times, and I can promise you, he has never been that emotional about it because you're sitting next to him. And I don't know if you've ever heard that from his voice.
Not like that, no.
Yeah. I've seen it a couple times, and I'm glad you went there, and I knew where you were going because I remember you telling that story.
But that is the character of my son. And that's God. That's not because he's got the greatest father in the world, because he doesn't. He's got a great mother. He's got an amazing mother, but he's got a God in his life.
A little bit of Jesus in him.
A little bit of Jesus, man.
He has watched you. He's watched your character change. To me, he never had the opportunity to see a character of a man that didn't deserve God in his life. You know, he's always seen the character of a man that deserves everything, every blessing you have coming to you. And he saw that. And he knew at that point he had enough examples that he has seen to say, I got this now. Dad, you've showed me how to get to here. Let me take it from here. Right. And that's just that. But that's the power of recovery coming in, because you had God prior to all that.
We went to church, but I was drinking. I took him to church every single day.
But that's my point. But that was the power of recovery coming into your life to do that the way he got to see it, to allow him to say, do you feel your generational period of the family has changed because of your dad's recovery? Right. That changed the trajectory of the whole family.
Like what could be in the future too, right?
Right. I'm talking about you with your kids down the road because of your dad's recovery.
Yeah. I think 100%. I want to be a father someday. Obviously I have quite a bit of time before I have to worry about that, but I know I want to be a father, and I think I'm going to be a really good father.
Oh boy.
And I want to, that is my goal. Right. Is to basically, I want a family just like 2 kids, preferably a boy and a girl. You know, I know I don't get to choose, but I mean, I've thought about it, and I think I'll be a good father, and it definitely has changed, because who knows what I would have been like if I didn't grow up with a father in my life. What kind of father could I have been? Because I would have had almost maybe no example. You never know.
I got a question. Speaking of that, son, say you're going to be a father. And I agree. I think you'll be an amazing father.
Better make damn sure that Bonnie's on board with that before you decide.
Oh, she's over.
Baby. Oh, yeah. Just saying. Oh,
yeah. What would you do different than what I've done? What maybe what you would see as mistakes that I've made, or things that maybe a direction you wouldn't do, or would you make your son wrestle, as opposed to when he'll be giving you your freedom not to? I would say mistakes so much, but if you want to call them mistakes, go ahead. Because I'm not. We're imperfect, and imperfect people are going to raise imperfect people. But what would you see? What would you do different than what I have done? If you get a son and a daughter like I did.
I haven't put as much thought into this. It's still pretty decent time away. What would I do differently than what you did? I would probably make my son wrestle when he was young. I'm gonna put him in it or jujitsu or something, just because it's good to have. Especially because I'm a pretty small man. You know, I don't want him to get bullied or anything. So knowing how to defend yourself is important when you're young. And if he doesn't like it, I'll let him quit. But he has to try it for a little bit. Like, you got to try it.
But you have to finish out the season, then you don't have to do another.
Maybe 2 seasons. Try it twice.
There's so much in wrestling, that self-discipline.
That's what we was talking. I mean, defend yourself too with that confidence. But I didn't do that with him. I let him kind of find his own way. And then his freshman year, hey, Dad, I think I'm going to, no more baseball, which he's not going to be a pro. We knew that anyway, pro ball player, but I want to wrestle at Oakdale. Okay, son. Well, I said, great, but you're going to take your lumps. And he did.
I took some lumps, yeah.
But and the beautiful thing about what God did, as far as like Jeff Jones and Steve Strange, different men than me. But what I'm grateful for is every other man that's been, because I've had as far as men go, I've had the most influence in his life, obviously. But and Martin too. But every other man that God's put that's had an example on him preached the same. They helped me parent because they taught the discipline, character, honestly, all the things that I preached to them.
Same way.
They got the same from
surround yourself with men like yourself. So you weren't going to let your son.
Well, they just so happened the coaches he got were also that, that which was awesome, which helps me. Yeah, it helps parents. I mean, trust me, wrestling helped me parent him because the lessons it taught him as a man. I mean, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. I mean, they're going to do what you do. But so it was awesome. I thought, it was a great thing. But he just took to it. He's always been more mature, and he's always been forward thinking. He, like when he was in junior high, Larry, 8th grade, actually, we were talking, he's like, Dad, I can't wait till I can mow my own lawn, barbecue do all this. Son, dude, you're coming into high school. Go enjoy.
Right.
Enjoy some of this.
Watching you enjoy life, though. He was at that, like I said, he was watching you enjoy life. Yeah. He wasn't watching. Me and Bonnie didn't see it like that, but it is. He wasn't watching you go through the drudgery of life, right? He wasn't watching you like struggle through life because you had this freedom of the sobriety that we talk about, that you weren't hung up with a lot of stuff. You just had freedom. You know what? I never thought of it like that, but you're right. He did. He saw, he saw, and I'm going to talk about a couple things. Because I do enjoy mowing lawn, because ask him how I mow the lawn. Before cancer, now shirts off. Well, yeah, and then Bonnie's taking pictures through the window. That makes the man feel good. No, and you should. I mean, the out here in my cow milker boots with no shirt on, is just a pair of shorts mowing the lawn. Neighbor ladies out there drooling and shit. I love that. Sitting in their lawn chairs, drinking their wine, watching a sober guy mow. Porty's out doing yard work on Sunday. Hey, what? And I know you hate this. I know you hate this word, Rob, because you don't live in fear. So get past the question. Go ahead. Have another way. What fears or worries did you have about both your children as you were growing, as they were being raised up? Did you ever have the thought, yes, will they be like me? Will they have this ism? What am I doing? They both share character traits of me. Okay. He got all the good. I want to say my daughter got all the bad, but she got she's got a lot of isms, and she was in my experience really scared her straight, if you would. If you want to touch out, because she's finally at 24, 23, getting ready to turn 24 this month. Had a few drinks and stuff, and found a drink she kind of likes, but she let fear guide that. Right. Which, not so much with him do I mean, but what, after cancer? No, I don't not worried. I turned him over. But before cancer, I was 9 years sober going through cancer. Right. After that, I turned them all over. They're his. Before that, yeah, man, I don't, and a lot of times I would harp and preach, or if something would happen or something going on in their life, I'd pull out the big book, wouldn't I? And we'd just read them a little something, to try to. And sometimes instead, maybe I preached too much out of fear instead of just a life lesson. I definitely see that. Yeah. I definitely see that. So, Logan, I'm. Wait a minute. I'm gonna before I there's a couple things I want to do. Jim, you got any questions you want to ask Logan that came up? I mean, you got some boys too.
Sorry about. All right.
Breaking in.
No, Logan, I feel how lucky Logan is. You know, I'm sitting here listening to that, and I know what my sons went through.
How old are yours, Jim?
My sons are, let's see, Matthew's going to turn 28 and Josh is 27. So they saw me. I mean, I'm only 2.5 years sober. They lived through hell, and I didn't think they did. I told you guys a story that, you
Yeah.
know, that I didn't realize what I put them through. And when Matthew went away to college, that's why he didn't want to come back. And I was scared to death they were going to end up like me. And thank God their mom she's such a wonderful lady that without pushing them against being that way, she was able to steer them away. And, you know, the younger one, he's got a lot of the traits I do, but not the isms. But, you know, he gets stressed. He gets the control that I get. And they all have that kind of stuff. But I think after them seeing what I went through, they can't even consider going that route. I mean, because they almost lost me 2 years ago. They got phone calls telling them where I was.
I'll tell you that story.
Yeah,
I worry about.
But wait, that's a great story, though.
Oh, it's a
The
great
prayer and the bullet not
Yeah.
firing. It's
Watch
amazing.
the podcast.
Oh, you did?
No, I will.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Watch
an
that
amazing one. That's still, like I said, it was on August 20th. The Jim, that story is from
It is, you know,
from chief to rock bottom. It aired on August 20th is when it aired, and it was an incredible story. But I worry about. I don't fear it as much as I used to. I worry about both my dolls, right? I mean, but I also,
in what way? What do you worry for? What?
well, and I don't want Logan and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but listen, we read a lot of stories inside the rooms of AA. I mean, there's stories inside there where people didn't drink till they were 60 years old and they put their slippers to the side and they drank themselves to death in 6 months.
And there's
right?
people that didn't really start drinking until their 30s and
Right.
40s, and you know, then 5 years later they're in the rooms. Yeah.
I barely drank from the time, I drank I was bad in high school. I mean, my alcoholism was out of control in high school. And then when I started dating my wife and, things got a little serious, I put the alcohol and the cocaine and everything to the side. I didn't touch it for a long time. I'd have drinks every once in a while, but it was never anything. And then when I got to be 36, 37, right around in there, it went to drinking every day. To drink, and then by the time 2019, 2020 came around, I was full blown, right? I mean, there was nothing stopping me, nobody was stopping me, and I was 50 years old and, I just didn't give a shit anymore. So, and that's what I say is, you just don't know, right?
Right. But he knows one thing. The minute he asks himself, because he's, your daughter see it now. Once he has to ask himself, I wonder if drinking's a problem. I wonder if this is becoming a problem. It is. He knows that. Once you ask yourself that question,
and that's where
you either cross that line
right.
or you're real there. So that, it's time to reel it in.
And that's where I've heard people say this. If you have to ask yourself what time you're starting to drink,
yeah,
right? If you have to look at a clock to say it's 5 o'clock, okay, good, I can have a drink. That's a problem. If you start counting your drinks, right? If you're looking at it, if you're sitting in a bar, you go, okay, that's 5. I can do 4 more. That's a problem, right? I mean, there's a lot of triggers that I've talked about that you go, I mean, are you a full-blown alcoholic? No, you're probably not.
But normal people, drinkers don't ask themselves those questions. You've got a problem that you need to get hold of.
That's my point.
Mhm.
These are, and your dad hates this word. This word comes into effect sometimes, but those are trigger warnings to go.
They're just warnings. They're just.
And you're right, but it's a warning that pops up to go, shit. Oh yeah, maybe I better check this, right? So, Katie, did you have any questions? No, I think, and I'm going to try to get through this. I think, Logan, you need to understand him. In fuck, what he is to us. Your dad has saved a lot of lives. He's put a lot of families back together. Not him alone. God has used him in ways that is incredible. He is very, very highly respected in this rooms of AA. His name is very well known. So I think the reason why I tell you this is so it's not that you don't think highly of him already, because you do, but he is inside the rooms of AA, just very, very highly spoke about human being, right? Um, and to have him sitting across from me to do these podcasts, I am tremendously blessed. You know, I was making a joke yesterday that when I went to, because I didn't go to primary to get my my 4-year chip on my actual birthday. I went this Friday here, and it was fun is when I walked in, everybody was like, "Where's your partner? Where's your partner?" I think one person was, of course, was Jay wanting to know where my wife's at, but everybody else was wanting to know where my partner's at. Where's your partner? Where's your partner? Where's your partner? And I'm like, he's not fucking here, you know. So I mean, people just recognize us as a team together, and I'm blessed to have that. Blessed to have that. And you know what him and I do together with this podcast is, you know, I throw content and he kicks it out of bangs it out of the park, right? That's it. I bring, you know, the next podcast you're going to see your dad at work. And I can't wait for you to watch this, because literally I told him, I said, what, you know, when I was preparing for these 2 podcasts, I really didn't know how to prepare for you. And like I said, I had to Google it, but I knew what I wanted to do for the second one, right? I want to display your dad in true active form. And when we come back and record, you're going to see your dad very, very active in a topic that I brought up, and it's going to be fun. Right. And, I'm excited for that one. So I think in closing that you know, anybody that's struggling and your kids are watching this, and if your kids are still young, by all means, reach out to somebody, reach out to us, you know, recovery unfiltered podcast at gmail.com. Rob, me, thank God, Jim, you know, Jim is I've turned quite a few guys, at least 3 or 4 now, huh, Jim? Turn them over to you.
3 or 4.
The guys that are first responders that have reached out to us because of, you know, they heard Jim's podcast and they reached out, you know, and it's just, we're here to help. And yesterday, my conversation with John, and because like I said, I'm struggling that I wasn't going shooting yesterday. I was struggling because I wasn't being a part of that. And John helps me by saying, Larry, what you do with that podcast is more involved than, you know, because what I do after you guys leave, I still got to
is the work. You do the work.
I got to do the work.
He does the work.
This is the easy part.
Yeah.
You know, this is the fun part. The work comes in, you know, you see all this stuff, you see everything that I'm trying to do. That's the work. And this is the stuff that helps, you know, this is what I stay involved with. This is what I, you know.
And I've never really, and I should. No, I will now. No,
you shouldn't. I asked you to do it with me, not for me. So,
but I don't share with him. Like sometimes, like I've never shared one email or stuff. You know, I share them with Bonnie.
You should.
No, I will now that he's been on. We get from around the world, around the country, you know, people calling in, and just amazing what God does with this. When you step out and you do a little something, God just takes it and just blows out the water.
Amazing stuff. And I just read one again this morning, and I don't know if this is it or not. I think this may even been the one from Aurora, Colorado that I put in to Jim. And it was a guy that had a 45 Colt in his mouth,
which I've had.
And he was just,
my son doesn't know that story. Yeah,
he was just there.
Yeah, never mind.
He was on it, and it's not that we pulled him out of the gates of hell, but he came across our podcast and he listened to it and he reached out to us, and he was a first responder, and he was in Aurora, Colorado. And that's the one that, you know, Jim's from Denver, and that's the one we got into Jim. And, you know, we've done some fun things, and it's because
there's 2 things I want before we close. What I'm so grateful for. I mean, of course, grateful to be sober, grateful for all that stuff, but I'm really grateful that my son and my daughter and my wife, they got to see, you know, there's no doubt. I mean, he's got his own relationship and he's building his own relationship with God as he understands him, but he got to see God's power. He's got to see God actually work in the life of human beings. So he knows there is one, and he knows who it is, you know, so, which is awesome. He got to, you know, you got to actually see firsthand what God can do. And 2, if you're out there and your kids are young and you're struggling with alcoholism, he was 6. when I got sober. 6 years old. And doesn't remember. If you do the deal, you can have this. You can have this. Because Gary Z told me when I was a year and a half sober at the Friday night meeting in Oakdale, just doing the deal, putting my head down, just going to meetings. And he looked at me, this little prick, and he's smaller than me. Voice.
That's little.
And I don't know why he just shows, and there's 60 men in there. There's 60 people. He's looking at me and says, if you don't want your kids to grow to be like you, quit being like you. Which right then told me that's when what Jay had told me, AA is not about not drinking one day at a time. It's about living life one day at a time, happy, joyous, and free. It's not about me. I've got young ones in my house. It's not about just staying sober. Right. It's time to be a parent, be a man, be a husband, be a father. All those things that I wasn't doing very well, but I had men around me in the rooms that taught me how to do that. And I would learn, I would take some, and the things that worked, I incorporated. The things that didn't work, I didn't incorporate, but I tried everything just to be, because that's what it's about. It's not about not drinking. Alcohol is just a symptom, page 64. Be a man, be a father, be an employee, be an employer, and a good one, a godly one. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. So that turned the corner for me.
So one more thing before we close is I'm going to say this. 35 years ago today, I was getting prepared to get married.
Oh, really?
I was, and yes, 35 years ago today, we were doing our walkthrough and doing everything. And tomorrow, which would be May 18th, I celebrate 35 years with this wonderful, beautiful woman sitting behind me. And thank God you stuck with me, baby. I love you.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah. That is a feat. That's impressive. In today's day and age, any day and age, that's impressive. Katie, what's really impressive, you put up with this fucking animal for that many years and not slit his throat when he fucking slept.
Talk about strength and tolerance.
Yes. But doesn't that bring, I've read it 3 or 4 times, that Dr. Bob and, Dr. Bob's Nightmare, the women that alcoholics tend to marry.
All right.
Why they put up the shit we do, I don't know, but what amazing women we've got. You're lucky.
She's
blessed.
pulled me out of the gates of hell more than once.
Yeah. And she puts up with this bullshit. You take her rooms away from her, spend the money. God,
don't
geez.
kid yourself. She's enjoying this now. She's having fun. So anyways, baby, I love you.
Katie, got any questions for my son? Are you good?
No, we know Bonnie and how amazing she is.
Yes.
So of course your kids have to be amazing, which I've never had the pleasure of meeting Logan. So I've heard a ton about you and your mom. She loves you so much. So, not that your dad doesn't, it's very obvious. Your mom.
Oh, she's going to struggle when it's time.
I feel sorry for the woman he brings home. I'm just saying.
Oh, wait, no. Because growing up, Bonnie always says, I get to pick out your wife. And when Logan was 4, 5, 6, 7, he would agree with Mama. Now he's like, baby, I'll pick her out, Mom. You just, I got this.
You might want to take your girl and have your sister vet her, and then have this girl vetted by multiple people before you take her home to Mom.
We'll talk, and then I'll have Mom all warmed up. It'll be good.
Well, let's be truthful here. That girl's going to have some pretty big shoes to
yeah.
fill.
Oh, God.
Because for her to step into any role of significance in his life, she's got to follow that same cookie cutter as Bonnie, and that's going to be tough.
And that's something to really think about.
One word of advice to have is never compare a woman that you marry to your mom.
No.
If you do that, you're fucked. I promise you.
Larry didn't.
I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah. Don't ever do that, because it will disappoint you. I promise you, because there's very few women like your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. I love you, Bonnie, but thank God.
Yeah.
Anyways, baby, let's get out of here.
Podcast.
We're gonna do
if you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com.